Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trader's Mind Chat live show. I'm Mike, and today's show is very special. We have a very special guest today. I'm going to bring him on right now, Amit Jay Shah from ShareVision. ShareVision CEO, founder of ShareVision. Amit, welcome to the Trader's Mind Chat show. Great to talk to you for a few minutes here.
Yeah, hi Mike. Thanks for having me. It's great to be on here, and I've watched a number of your different podcasts. So yeah, it's a real pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The Amit and I have been talking for a few months. How long has it been? It's been at least a few months, like maybe
Yeah,
September of last year
y-
or so.
it's one of those things I think where you realize actually it's been a long time since we probably first met and came together and stuff, talking about content and trading and everything you're doing and what we've got going on in ShareVision. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's longer than 6 months ago that we actually met or met virtually
Mm.
at least.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, need to go back and look at some of those emails. But anyway, yeah. Amit is the founder and CEO of ShareVision, and ShareVision. For those of you that don't know about ShareVision, you need to check it out. Like a dedicated platform for people like us, people that are into trading, stocks, crypto, forex. So like everything's just there in one place. You know what? You could tell it better than I can. Yeah, let me. Well, why don't I ask you this, Amit? Let's hear a little bit about your background and what inspired you to develop ShareVision in the first place.
Sure. So I guess, well, firstly, a bit of my background very briefly. So I've been a kind of found CEO of a number of different tech and digital businesses. I actually don't have a finance background myself, but it's more
Oh,
been involved in technical startups and so on. So it's been really interesting to build those businesses. But in terms of ShareVision and me and my colleagues and co-founders in the team that I've built and launched ShareVision with, I guess we saw a number of different problems or a number of different behaviors that were happening. And the
okay.
first was, there's a lot of content out there. And
Hmm.
now, especially with upcoming generations, there's a lot of people super hungry for the right kind of content. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, as I think, you and I certainly know, there's a lot of content out there which perhaps isn't the right kind of content.
Right.
And nowadays, upcoming generations, they're not going to sit and watch, something on the news or something on TV through one of these kind of main broadcasters or whatever else it might be. But what they're doing is that they're scrolling on their phone or searching through YouTube or other platforms about the right kind of content. So we
Hmm.
want to kind of provide a platform that brings together the right kind of content creators in a way that's easy for today's generation, but also upcoming generations to digest that content really easily. So that's where it was born from.
Yeah, that's interesting. How do you make sure that only the right type of content creators make it onto the program, onto the platform?
Mm. Yeah, it's a difficult one, and we do it through a number of different ways. Because ultimately, anyone can join ShareVision. Anyone who is already a financial content creator or creates content related to economics, news, anything related to finance. However, what we're building, and it's a brand, we're trying to make sure that, how you perceive ShareVision is
Mm,
as a brand who stands for credible content. So the kind of content creators who come to us know the kind of content that they should be producing. So, your
got
content on
it.
ShareVision or anyone else's content on ShareVision, for example, they're going to be sitting next to the likes of Bloomberg, your Nasdaqs of the world, your Morningstars of the world. So it's a real kind of credible place to be able to see and watch content. That's kind of a lightweight answer. Now, we
It
have
makes total
technology as
sense.
well.
It,
It
like
does.
it, like
It's
it.
Go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that it almost sounds like if you were to go to like a club, right? Like that's the first thing that popped into my head. So like you walk into a club and like it has like a certain vibe, right? And if the vibe is right, you'll stay there, you'll hang out, but like if it's not, then you'll leave, and so you're creating a vibe with ShareVision. At least that's what it kind of sounds like. On am I on the right track?
You are on the right track. It's it's a brand feeling. It's something that you
Mhm,
associate with ShareVision. You know that this is the kind of place. So people who are searching content, so content consumers, they
mhm,
know that if they want to be able to find credible, safe, worthwhile content to watch, they know that they don't need to search for it online on the web. They can come to ShareVision and find everything that they need. Now, of course, through the technology that our team are building, they're
mhm,
creating ways where we can make sure that we're monitoring and checking the right kind of content to ensure that nothing that goes against our community guidelines comes up onto ShareVision. So there are ways for us to monitor and make sure that we're checking, flagging, and removing the wrong kind of content. So it's a number of different ways we're doing it, but it is really important to us that it has that credibility factor.
ah, that's interesting. You guys are still fairly young, right? Like, well, when was the company founded, or well, when did you
Yeah, so the
guys first
company
form?
The company was founded in October 2020, but we didn't
Okay.
actually launch our product until January 21. So we're a young business. However, in that time, we've achieved some really good growth in terms of the content creators who've managed to come on board and be loyal to us, like
Mhm,
yourself.
mhm,
And we've been able to partner with some real mega brands and the likes of the Bloomberg, CME Group, Morning Stars, who are on ShareVision already, and they're
mhm.
distributing their content to our audience too. And our audience has grown as well. And this has all been, before we've released even ways that we can help content creators monetize, which is quite exciting because we've got that launching next week in what we've called the ShareVision Wallet. And this will probably be
Mhm.
the first time I'm speaking about the ShareVision Wallet on a public place. So we're really
Ah, very
excited by
cool.
it. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm sure it's going to be a really exciting feature for content creators like yourself and others on the platform.
Yeah, I need to get with the times a little bit. I need to have like one of those little buttons where you have like breaking news and it like
Yeah,
comes and flashes on the screen, or something like that. And
yeah. I think
that's pretty cool.
I probably need to do the same. To be honest, I think it's being able to actually time it right with that. But anyway, we I kind of caught you off guard with it anyway.
But no, no, that's all good. I love it. So let's see. As far as like the content and the noise goes, and you're filtering uh, for all these like other people to come on. I'm curious, like if you've experienced anything yet, like where like somebody's come on the platform and it's been inappropriate. Has that happened yet, or not yet?
It has happened, I think, only once. Generally speaking, this whole feeling that you just described about having the right content creators seems to be working because the sorts of individuals or businesses that are joining us, generally speaking, are creating great content and they're getting
Mhm.
good engagement for it. So their audience are really liking what they do.
Okay.
That there has been perhaps one or two creators who, either through language or through the type of content that they're creating, we haven't really agreed with. And I'll give you some examples.
Yeah.
Upcoming generations, it's the TikTok generations of the world who, there's all sorts of different content on there. And unfortunately, whilst we have now got so much accessibility to trading apps and trading brokers, there's still a real lack of education
Mm,
for it, in particular younger audiences, to be able to learn before they can actually go and trade. And there's a lot of content out there, on these upcoming social platforms that perhaps misguides new investors or new traders to say that actually making money trading or investing is really, really simple. You can snap your
mm.
fingers and be a millionaire overnight, which
Right, right.
I think you in particular will know and understand that that's not really the case, and that doesn't happen. So there's been some content like that, but as soon as we see it, we make sure we flag it and we make sure that it either gets completely suppressed off the platform or it gets removed.
Right. I think that especially for people that are brand new to the market, and well, when I first started too, like I had that idea in my head that you put a little bit of money in, you wait X amount of time, and more money magically pops out the other end, and learned the hard way that that's not quite that simple. But like in any large sample size, like you'll have an outlier of somebody that wins the lottery, but is playing the lottery a viable trading strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like not at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, how long have you been, trading, Mike? How did you start out, and how long did it actually take you to get to a point where you thought, yeah, this is what I can do?
I've been trading now for I think it's 23 or 24 years. And that's like going back where like I was just doing this part time from that first spot where I decided to take a little bit of money and go over. Like I didn't even know where to go or how to do it. I went to my local bank because they had a little financial kiosk, and I went over to them and I said, "Oh, I'd like to buy some stocks." And they're like, "Oh, kid, you don't want to do that." Like I was 17, 18 at the time. They said, "Hey, what you want is this," and they showed me a basket of mutual funds that they were selling, and so I went with those, and I thought that okay, I've got some professionals managing the money for me, and I've got lots of diversification. Time is on my side. I was just starting my undergraduate at the time, and I wasn't really planning to take it out. So I thought that I had like the main things all going for me, and this is 98, 99, and so we're in the tech bubble. I didn't even know what the Nasdaq was, to be honest. At that point, I just
Yeah.
thought money in, more money out. And so I go and I check the mutual funds 6 months in, and 6 months in, it's up 10%. And I'm like, all right, like I'm a genius. Right? Like I'm gonna be that like my little investment. I think I started with 5 grand would turn into a car by the time I was ready to graduate. And so as things went on through like sophomore year at that point, like I stopped checking because studies were getting harder. And uh, it's I had the pros managing it for me, and I had diversification and lots of time, so didn't really look at it at all. And then when I graduated in the summer of 2002, I was shocked to find that I didn't have the money for the car that I thought that I was going to have.
Mhm.
I didn't even have the money that I originally started with. It was like $1,000 less than what I started with. 5 grand, and it was I think I left with about 4 grand, so about a 20% drawdown. It's like, how the hell does this happen? Pros managing it, lots of time, all of the diversification, and so that was my first experience with the market. It
It's very,
wasn't
very different to what we have now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's funny. It wasn't until really like maybe 2010, 2011 that I finally found a strategy that worked well, made sense. And then uh perhaps the most important part, finding mentors and like real people that were doing this, that were able to show me how to trade. And not like, yeah, like it was uh like they would show me based off of their examples. Like they Okay, that they had this group, IBD, an Investors Business Daily meetup group
Mhm.
that I started going to, like local meetup group. And well, what they would do is we would meet there once a month, 3 hours, and everybody would share, or they would do a lesson. They would share like market commentary, trade ideas, all these things, and I was blown away by the content. It was like the level of content that I was receiving in grad school at like around that time I was in grad school. So I went to that for a year, and then after a year studying, like reading like we were studying O'Neill's book. Are you familiar with William O'Neill?
I'm not actually, no.
Yes, a fantastic book, How to Make Money in Stocks. He so he wrote that book, came up with this strategy called Can Slim, which is an acronym for what the biggest winning stocks in history have had. The stocks that have gone up several hundred, several thousand% in a couple of years. And so read that book, digested it the same way that I was with my studies in grad school, and then learning from these other people. And within a year, I went from like boom bust to starting to gain some traction in my account. And it was that learning environment where you have a few people that are experienced, that know what they're doing in front of the room. You have other people like me that are beginners, like sitting in the audience, and we're all helping each other. And it was that community aspect that really helped me to turn the corner. Yeah, and it's just grown from there, and it's what inspired me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's really interesting you mentioned that community aspect is what kind of helped you turn the corner, because I think you fast forward to today where, and this is important, there's a massive community feel about, trading and investing, and that's a lot about what ShareVision's about. Creating a space where people can share, engage with their community, traders can engage with each other, their audience can see not just from one person, they can actually get the opinions of different people, so they can really broaden their horizon in terms of the information that they're getting. They don't just have to read or watch Bloomberg or watch one individual, but actually they can take and pick the information from different content creators that they like and love. They can subscribe to them, they
Hmm.
can follow them, they can donate to them on ShareVision if they want, subscribe to their premium content, and they can have this collection of information that is community driven. And I think that's really important nowadays when investing is so easy to do and so accessible by so many. At just a click of your, click on a phone or download of an app, you can have however many stocks. You don't need to go to the bank like you did once upon a time. It's crazy to think about that, really. Just seeing, young Mike, younger Mike, go through into a bank and try and place some investments. It's a different world now. And how did you? We've got, now in the world of content creation and so on. How did you see that whole process starting? I don't think I've even asked you this. When did you start creating content and doing, webinars and things like that?
Webinars came much later. I was even slow to the game getting on Twitter. Like I remember when Twitter first came out, and it was just like, well, why would I be interested about texting pictures of my food to people that I don't know? Like that was my idea of what Twitter was when it first came out. But once it was after I had started to gain success in trading, so with the IBD meetup group, and then not only was it after the year that I started to gain success, but I went back to the leaders of the group and I showed them, hey guys, thank you so much. Here's what I've been doing based off of what you've taught me. What do you think? And there was a hedge fund manager that was helping to lead the group, a couple of full-time traders, and when I showed them what I was doing, they wanted to like they were impressed and wanted to take some of what I was doing and incorporate it into what they were doing. And that kind of floored me because here I am, like a guy in the audience, uh, trading part-time, and they wanted to do what I was doing, or at least some of what I was doing. So well, what I had done was like take what they were teaching and just figure out a way to make it work for me as a part-timer. So being a bit more efficient with what I was doing. So that's what had me think, wow, if that like there's got to be other people in a similar boat that want to make trading work, make it work part time with a full time job. Let me start exploring ways that I could help. And so that led to going on social media. It led to my first business too. I had a blog that turned into a business and created an app and all these things. Um, and yeah, like looking back on it, it's like kind of uh, remarkable the journey. Like similar to yourself, and you're such a young guy too, right? We were talking earlier, 31 years young, and here you are, and you multiple companies, well, with this large, like such a great and wonderful thing that you're doing. It's really impressive.
Well, 31 years young, it sometimes doesn't feel like that anymore. But I think comparatively speaking, then yeah, maybe in terms of how people see me, then yeah, perhaps still young and a few more years to go. And I guess my background at when finished my education and things like that, it's almost stumbled into business because I didn't know what I wanted to do out of university here in London. I said to myself, well, what shall I do now? I kind of had some interests and then had some ideas and, was supported in terms of, pushing me to follow what I wanted to do by parents and family and so on. And started my first business and was fortunate enough to, achieve some earlier success. And I think that gave me the confidence to go on and keep up and pursue different business opportunities. And I was fortunate enough again to meet my now colleagues and the co-founders of ShareVision, who were their background was within finance and certainly knew the world, perhaps even certainly better than I did. And I think together being able to build a platform which I think now is loved by and watched by tens of thousands of people every single month has been really rewarding. And even if business doesn't always lead to great success. I've certainly had my businesses that haven't been successful, but the journey and building something is really fun and enjoyable. And like I said, it's a really rewarding experience, even though it certainly keeps you very busy.
Yeah, 100%. Could definitely empathize there. And one of the things that I like to think about too is like we're all here for a relatively brief time. If we're not enjoying ourselves, like, oh well, what's the point?
Yeah, it's actually I completely relate to that because it's something I try within my best limits to live by. You kind of think if you're going through something that is really hard work and actually you're not enjoying it, of course you have to be in a position where you're able to make that decision, but you shouldn't really keep going with it if you can manage not to. It's something, especially when building a business, like with all the things you're up to and books and so on, which I'm sure we'll come on to later. But if you don't enjoy it, then it's sometimes not really putting in the hours. But building something, an entrepreneurship, building products, launching them, and seeing how customers use them, because customers definitely use products in ways sometimes that you don't even expect. It's really interesting and yeah, really rewarding.
Well, what are some of the ways that people have used ShareVision that you didn't expect?
Um, I think it comes down to quite minor things, in terms of, you launch whatever it is, maybe live streaming, and certain content creators want to live stream for certain periods of time. I think I didn't really expect or imagine so many content creators actually go live for hours and hours within the day. I thought
Mm,
initially that it's 30 minutes, 60 minutes, perhaps a little bit longer live streams, but we have content creators who, okay, granted, they might not be speaking non-stop through it's the camera and through the live stream. They're
mm.
going live for 4 hours, five, six. We have some streams on ShareVision that are 24/7. Of course, I think these content
Wow.
creators are stopping to sleep, but they're recording their screens because I think people are keen to watch and see what they're up to.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like they're like taking the camera and like putting it in the bedroom, like watch you sleep, and then you come back like a day, like a life of a trader, literally.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's maybe not so much so in watching you sleep, but certainly watching your trading screen and seeing what's happening, throughout the markets at opening, at closing. We have content creators who live stream, their daily analysis. Some will do a special kind of pre-week analysis, end of week analysis. They'll be actually trading and doing, whether it's some price action trading or some analysis live on some charts, and people are watching, and it's really great actually because you see the comments and you can see how you've probably seen it yourself when you've been doing these streams and videos. But you get to see in the comments how people are commenting saying thank you. Your video and your
Mm.
content is really changing how I trade. It's changing my life because you're changing how I trade, I'm making more money, and that's really great to see because it's happening on the platform that the team and I have helped build. So that's really something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like like that's the rewarding part of it, for sure. Um, like streaming like 24 hours a day, like that's just yeah, like that blows my mind a little bit too. Like to me, like trading done well, or like it's less so, I don't know, like for me, that I'm not looking at the screens for very long at all. Like I probably look at the screens more when I'm doing a live stream than I would on another day.
Yeah,
Just because like so much comes in the preparation, and then it's just like putting the trades on and letting them do what they're going to do, and everything is like enter here, targets here, scale outs along the way, cut the loss short, and uh, I don't know, that's how I tend to
yeah.
to do that.
I guess it depends on the kind of trader that some people are. And I mean, I'm not I don't have a finance background by trade. I'm certainly not a trader per se. But I guess it's what kind of trades that people like to make, and also some of our content creators, they certainly trade or invest or speak about some kind of economic news, but some
Mhm.
are they're more about their content creation business or side of things,
Mm.
more so than the investing side of things. So
Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
there's a mix between what people are there to do. Some are really there to concentrate on content creation, and that's a primary. And I think investing and economic news and so on comes as a secondary. But then you get a lot on the flip side of things where investing is number one, and actually in the background they've got this live stream going on, and it's just part of their lives, and people follow. So you get a mix
Mhm.
of different kind of people, and that's also important for what we're trying to do on ShareVision. And you've probably found this as well within the industry, and especially within finance content creators. There's a lot of people selling courses or certain things
Ah,
and so on, and trying to shove whatever it is down their consumers' throats in terms of being able to buy something. And that's something we're trying to focus on too, to try and make sure that there's the content creators that we have on board. We can't control exactly everything that people are you know are creating. We want people to have complete freedom to create what they want, and they do have complete freedom. But
mhm.
at the same time, there's a balance because there is more and more individuals and businesses who are trying to sell, this course that you do in 3 days, and you're going to become the number one trader in the world. And some people are there just creating great content. And there's a place for both, but we more so want the latter. We want people there just creating great content because they enjoy doing it, and it's really beneficial for people watching.
Hmm. So the people that are like create so like if somebody hops on board and they're creating say like oh like buy this or buy that, or they're like making some kind of a promise that you feel is inappropriate. Oh, is that something that you would allow to stand on the platform, or is that something that gets flagged, or what happens?
Ultimately, yes, it will stay on the platform. The way that our platform works is that without going into too much detail about how everything works behind the
Right,
scenes,
right.
the better content will get a better ranking on ShareVision, so it will be seen by more people. And if we do feel that something is not the right kind of content, people can post, that's fine, but perhaps it might not be seen by so many people because the way the algorithm works and what it picks up and what it promotes on the platform will certainly over time improve in terms of how it registers what people are saying and the kind of content that's on there. reviewing the kind of comments and so on from customers, and just making sure that it's the right kind of content. So yes, anyone can certainly post um, within the community guidelines. It will stay on ShareVision. It's just about making sure that we're putting the right kind of content on the homepage of ShareVision, or it's getting to the top of the rankings. Almost that internal SEO that I think people are really sought after.
Interesting. Like it sounds like it's very much like quality over quantity. Is that fair?
It's a mix. It's finding the right balance. You know, you do want to keep. I know a lot of our content creators have come over from YouTube because they get more engagement on ShareVision from very early days. I think YouTube is brilliant, but it's a
Mhm.
place for everything.
Right,
It's not
right.
it's not a place for just financial content creators. But a lot of people come over because they're getting more engagement, and they're seeing the right kind of content as well. So, that is a lot of the reason why, people are coming over to us as well.
Oh, well, we've got a question over on ShareVision that came from Andres. He's asking, got a question for Amit. Which live streams are your favorite ones?
Well, I can't be on Mike's podcast and not say Mike and Mara Wealth, so I've got to start with that one. But there's a number of different
The
content
check is in the
creators
mail,
who,
Amit.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll expect that through any day now. Um, I mean, there are a number of different content creators. I think it is the content creators who I've just described, the individuals who perhaps are doing this because they love doing it rather than doing it because there's a hook at the end trying to sell something. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for that, definitely. But there's a number of different content creators on ShareVision. Includes yourself, Mike. We've got
Mm,
a couple of gentlemen called Luke. Luke Trades London. That's a brilliant channel to watch. There's a gentleman called Jason here, based here in the UK actually, and we've got content creators all over the world. So yeah, there's a few which I could pick out, but of course I'll
interesting.
lead with you, Mike.
I know a Jason in UK. I wonder if it's the same one.
Maybe Jason Greystone is the gentleman
Yes.
I'm speaking to. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I think he'd
Yeah, from
actually
Tier
mentioned
1.
yourself when I spoke to him last. So small world.
Yeah, indeed. Last year, he put on a panel discussion with myself, a few other content creators, that some guys from SMB Capital. It was great. My understanding is that he's trying to bring it live and could potentially doing it here in New York soon.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. So my last conversation with him was about a campaign we have coming up, which perhaps some of your audience would be interested in as well.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got our first trading competition coming
Oh,
up very
really?
soon, which will be quite interesting. We're trying to promote traders and the importance of creating great content, following good content as well. Of course, there's no risk, there's no money involved. We're not going to promote people, spending money, losing money at all. It'll all be done with demo funds. But
Mhm.
I know Jason had some ambitions around a similar kind of concepts, and it was very interesting to talk and throw ideas around about what works, what people want to see. And I with COVID and everything, hopefully, touch words, coming to an end or becoming a bit of normality, I would love in the future to be able to get people in person doing trading competitions, ShareVision live streaming those, competition streams across the world via our platform. I think that would be a really interesting time.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about it as the days go on. Like the length of the competition, like what types of things could you trade? Do you have any of those uh, thoughts now, or not yet? Still
Not
percolating.
yet, particularly. Yeah, still formulating a plan in terms of how that works. But as soon as we know, we'll certainly share those.
All right, very cool. Looking forward to that. All right. Yes. So let's see. Yeah, Andres. Yeah, thumbs up. Thank you, Andres. Yeah, like so, I've got a few different screens that I'm looking at for the questions, and ShareVision is right over here.
Nice, good. Yeah, I'm glad. It's good that I mentioned some people getting engagement and so on, and it's certainly still building up. But we do get a lot of content creators who, they produce brilliant content. They live stream every day, but the
Mm,
audience that they get through on YouTube is still really, really modest. And you kind of look at it and you think the amount of time you have been doing this, and this is sometimes years, and live streaming every day, and it's good quality content, but
mm,
still getting very modest views and engagement and so on. It's a shame to see sometimes, because I think it's just because however it works, YouTube's algorithm sometimes maybe goes for the more clickbait based content, or
mm,
there's billions of not just financial videos to try and rank, but there's billions of other kind of pieces of content we rank. And because our audience is solely there for, their finance enthusiasts or professionals or whatever else it might be, then generally speaking, the engagement does come through quite quickly. Not for everyone, of course. You've got to put the work in, but we're really pleased to see it.
yeah, very cool. Yeah, if you guys have other questions too, like, yeah, like, well, we're meant to, like, well, one of the things that I love doing on this show in particular is engaging well with the audience, engaging well with you guys. So
Yeah,
if you have other questions, like, please put them in, and Amit and I will do our best to make sure that we get to everybody's questions, because, well, we're starting to get towards the time limit. Um, but let's see. Uh, yeah, let's see. Well, what else do we have over here on our end? We've been a bit all over the place as far as the
yeah.
questions that we have. I think that
Th-
we've
There was there
hit
was there was a
on
structure,
quite a bit.
but I think we probably went off it a little bit. But that's generally how these things go when they're a bit more fluid. So yeah, apologies if I've messed things around.
No, no worries at all. Yeah, and yeah, flipping the script on me and doing a little bit of you interviewing me was kind of cool too.
Yeah, it's I think, well, I don't know how other people and viewers feel about this, but I think people must get bored of listening to me all the time. So it's nice to mix it up a little bit, rather than me just being interviewed and spoken about ShareVision. It's nice to see what you're up to too. And on that note, you've got
Mm.
a I see just floating above your head. There is a book there, but you've got
Oh yeah,
another another book you're working on
yeah, right
at the
next to
moment.
Optimus Prime back there. Yeah, there's some stories well with that too. But yeah, so that's my first book back there, the Mara Mindshift Guide. That was originally a going to be a blog post, and a 5-page blog post turned into a 71-page workbook, Trading Beliefs workbook. So that's been out for a little over a year. It's on Amazon, and it actually was number one on Amazon's hot list for about a month and a half. That blew my mind. And so publisher reached out to me asking for another book, and so I've been working on that. The working title is the Trading Mind Wheel. Um, Basically, like, I view there as being 8 core trading skills required for consistency and success, and so interwoven into all of them is beliefs and mindset. Well, one of my uh, biggest influences, a man by the name of Dr. Van Tharp. Uh, he had said that, well, we don't actually trade the market. What we trade are our beliefs of the market. So, like, everything is belief driven, and even that sentence represents a belief. So, um, in that, uh, I decided to write this book, the Trading Mind Wheel. Um, so, and it goes through every like, not just the core skills. So it's not like meant to be like a textbook, but it's also like a personal journey throughout too, and a lot of the things that I dealt with both as a child, later on into adulthood, how some of the beliefs from uh, early stage and childhood trauma can later on affect us, and sometimes even create, if we're unaware, and if we don't heal uh, those kinds of uh, traumas, that it could end up acting like a ceiling,
Mm,
like a
yeah,
glass ceiling,
I see
in a
that, and
way.
it's quite it kind of comes into that trading psychology piece, which
Yeah,
I think some of our content creators try to really focus on because it seems to be an underserved area in terms of content and information that's out there. But it sounds interesting. And so, how long you've been working on it? I can't remember. I think we spoke a little while ago. You've been working on it. It's coming out
yeah,
what around Christmas time?
yeah. It's coming out around Christmas. Been working on the book for it's been like over a year,
Mm,
and it's uh, you know Uh, both both the Mara Mindshift Guide and this new book wouldn't exist if it weren't for my wife Melissa. She's an author. She's also a writing coach, and she got me started on this, and actually wrote out like a large portion of the book, like me. Like she interviewed me, and then she went off and wrote it. And now like I'm taking it and writing a lot more of it as well, but. Um, yeah, it's a long time in the making, and so that it's for that reason, and while that I've decided to, at least for now, that like this, you're the first live stream that I've that the first interview that I've done this month, and will do for the rest of the month too, because I'm just that focused on getting the book to the publisher and getting
sure.
that out.
Makes sense. I think it must be even with the support that you've got behind the scenes, it's a lot of work and a lot of commitment to get this out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it and looking forward to, I'm sure, reading it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to getting it out into the world. It's well, I think that it's a game changing book, and it will be for uh, hopefully a lot of people.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure a lot of people will see it, and I'm sure a lot of people will buy it and read it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and just like everything that you guys have going on here with ShareVision too, like it's really is an incredible platform. Both from the technology and like the community that you're building too, and like that's why it makes it so special, and why I wanted to have you on and talk for a bit.
Yeah, and it's been brilliant. And I think for people watching it, we need more content creators like yourself. And it's a free platform. It's completely free. It's open for people to use. So to those who might be interested, who might not be content creators yet, or who are already content creators, I would encourage them to head over to sharevision.com and register for free. It takes 10 seconds. Create a channel again for free. It takes another 10 seconds, and they'll start very soon be able to monetize their content through the ShareVision wallet. So yeah, hopefully we'll see everyone on there soon.
Awesome. All right, Amit, question of the day for the audience. So you get to ask them a question. It could be anything at all, anything at all, finance, trading related, something completely different. Uh,
Sure.
Question of the
Um,
day.
okay, so I'll keep it finance and content related, and actually something perhaps um, I'm interested in hearing about as well. And
Okay.
I would say, in terms of the audience, I would love to hear in terms of the content that they would love to see from the financial world. What would they say is their most wanted piece of content? What do they most want? What do they most want to see from content creators like yourself? Are there specific topics?
Mm.
um, is it news? Is it analysis? I would love to see what they most search for.
All right, there you have it. I'd like to know the answer to that too.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, put your answer into the comments. If you're watching this later on, you're watching the recording of it. Put your answer into the comments, and uh, appreciate it. All right, Amit, this has been wonderful. Everybody that's been here, that's joined us live, thank you so much, and
L-
looking
Likewise,
forward to
Mike.
chatting
Thanks very
again
much.
soon.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. And yeah, I'll talk to you very soon.
All right, take care, everybody. Peace out. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the Marrow Wealth community. And make sure that you check out some of the other videos on the channel. They're exactly what you need to see. And leave a comment down below. I read all of them. Leave a comment.